Welcome to the Impact Room, brought to you by Douglas Jackson, who help you hire more impactful, diverse leaders who stay for longer and are more successful. The Impact Room is a business, CX and leadership podcast where exceptional, diverse and impactful leadership and wisdom is shared. We dive deep into pressing topics that impact your customer-led business, featuring interviews with CEOs, COOs, Chief Customer, Chief People Officers, directors, influential leaders and subject matter experts who share their lived experiences, top tips, thoughts, advice and industry trends to help elevate existing and future talent. So let's dive into our next episode, and please don't forget to like, subscribe or share if you enjoy this content. Thank you. Fabulous. Hello, so I'm Michelle Ansell, Managing Partner at Douglas Jackson, and we help hire more impactful, diverse leaders. Today in the Impact Room, I've got the pleasure of speaking with Suzanne Caesar, a visionary leader and innovator at the intersection of AI, human-centricity and purposeful technological advancements. Susan is presently the Director of Artificial Intelligence at the International Coaching Federation and also a founder of humane.org, which has a mission of inspiring action for a thriving planet by empowering individuals and organisations to harness AI for the benefit of all. This is also where you'll find Susan hosting her own podcast. So for anyone curious about learning more on AI, I'd encourage you to go check that out. Susan's a passionate about leveraging technology to enhance well-being and create meaningful human-centered experience. She's got a really strong career spanning global brands like AirBnb, Sage and ASOS to name just a few, and brings a wealth of expertise across customer, digital experience and transformations, empowering organisations to do good for people and the planet. Susan, hello.
Hello. Wow, that sounds amazing. I'd like to do that.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting into this then. So let's start with, what is human-centered AI and why is it important?
I think quite a few of the key elements you mentioned there in the intro. So human-centered AI is really about making sure we think about and start with human needs, well-being and values. And what I'm encouraging any organization really is to think about how those human needs, well-being and values are showing up in the moment, and to really consider how we take those into account when we design AI solutions,
Right.
in order that those AI solutions are transparent, ethical, and augment what humans do. AI is here to really elevate what humans do, not replace us.
Okay, interesting. So if we look at, you've worked around the globe, you've worked for leading companies, we've mentioned some of them, Sage, Airbnb, Dixon's, etc. So what have you learned in those C-suite roles across business people, digital CX, I suppose, that leads you to sort of the human-centered innovation space where you are today?
What's most important is to understand why your business exists.
Right.
So who are the people that you serve, and really start from there. I think what gets complicated is the scale of the organizations, the complexity of the organizations, especially the ones I've worked in have been global. They're spread across the whole globe. They have a myriad of activity that happens at the intersection of customers and employees, and that makes it complicated to do simple things. So what I'm saying is, we start from where the people are and what's most important to them, and how satisfied the customers or the employees are in that moment. But in order to do that and to really understand that at scale, you've got to be able to zoom out and understand the kind of end-to-end life cycle. And then what you've got to do is try and find the data points for each of those touch points in the end-to-end life cycle to understand how you're showing up in the moment for those customers and those employees. And having the data really helps you understand if it's a pain point, which you need to intervene and fix, or if it's a moment of truth and it's those things that actually elevate your brand, and therefore how might you amplify that and do more of it. So that's kind of like the recipe, but then trying to do that in a global business that, as I say, has all of this complexity and at speed, because it's all happening in real time. Trying to get all of the systems to be talking to each other, all of the data to be clear, is where the challenge is really for us as leaders in the CX space.
Yeah, interesting. And just to stay on that point for a second, if you don't mind. So given AI and the advancements and how quickly now things are moving technologically, do you think businesses need to take this as a reset? Because many of them, I'm sure, will have a level of maturity, not all advanced, but a level of maturity when it comes to digital or customer experience in recent years. So what do you think they need to do now, looking at, as I say, the AI advances that are sort of coming?
I think if we embrace AI, then I think we have the opportunity to innovate and enable our organizations to become more organic, because I think that's probably what's going to be necessary. AI will keep changing. I mean, every week something different is happening, but that's not too different from all of the other technologies that we've had, since the Industrial Revolution. Every new technology brings with it change and disruption. I think the difference with what we're experiencing now is just the speed of change and the scale of change. And so the sooner you can embrace AI within your organization and create the human in the loop. So this is basically, you've got the opportunity to have an always on feedback loop for how that experience is showing up in the moment for either customers or employees. So it's how quickly can you see those signals, interpret those signals, and then act on them. I think that's the key change, and it will disrupt our operating models, the decision making within organizations, the processes, the core processes that we have. All of those things will be impacted, which is why I say at the beginning, the most important thing is to be really clear about who your organization is, how it serves its people, and then design for that core purpose, really.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And again, it just asks another question based on that change and the speed of change, because we know that in big companies, and as you've said, complex organizations as well, if you're doing transformation, you've normally got 18 months, 2 or 3 years to maybe achieve that, haven't you? Like you say, the speed of change, things are happening weekly at the moment. So, how do organizations deal with that change in speed and well, yeah, how do they do that?
I think when you are adapting a new technology like AI, what the approach I would advocate for is to think that this is going to enable you to do business differently. So what you're not doing is doing the same way that you operated your business without this thing. You need to adapt your business to the new opportunities of AI, rather than trying to kind of shoehorn AI into your existing ways of working. If you can look at what the value of AI is and adapt to those things that AI is really strong at, if you can do that, then it will enable your organization and your decision making to be more iterative.
Right.
I think the key thing in this, or in the 21st century or now, what's emerging is the need for organizations to be agile, to be iterative, to be experimental. And quite a lot of the ways that businesses work, especially large globals, don't really have that. They've got quite rigid decision making. They've got quite formal processes, and that doesn't adapt well to the AI culture. AI requires people to be able to iterate and learn as you're going, learn by doing, as we say, and that requires an awful lot more flexibility. And virtual teams, domain experts, actually involved at the beginning of the design process and all the way through. And the development cycles are going to be weeks, not months.
Interesting. Thank you. So if we looked at like one question then that you think CEOs perhaps should be asking themselves about AI that would help maybe remove many of these challenges that they're going to inevitably face when it comes to the advancements that we've talked about, what would you say to that?
I think it is about clarity of purpose. So for the leaders, they don't need to sweat the small stuff, right? So all of the details of how their business operates is for their teams to figure out in their different domains. The leaders really need to have that clarity of purpose, because things will change, but what needs to stay true is why your organization exists and what your customers and employees expect of you. And if you've got that clarity of purpose, the next thing that leaders really need to do is to stay in flow. As I mentioned, this is about changes in speed and scale of operating. And therefore, as the leader, you need to be able to stay in flow in order that you're nimble and you can react to or anticipate the changes before they happen. So, yeah, also, I think with a leadership point of view, that it's really important that we have a coaching culture so that everybody has that continuous dialogue and they're communicating effectively, and that we have growth mindsets within our leadership and within the organization, actually, and how might you get that across your whole organization. And just to emphasize, all of this is because it is about this agile way of working, being iterative and experimental.
Interesting. I mean, again, on that subject, do you think the role of the CEO and I mean, how the types of people that we put into roles of CEOs, do you see that the type of individual in those roles changing? What are your sort of thoughts on that?
I think that it's really important for everybody to embrace AI. And I don't think leaders, so I do talk to people, frequently on this topic, and especially leaders and the future of work. And I hear people saying, well, kind of AI doesn't really fit our business, or it's not, we're not going to need it. I think that would be a mistake. I think it's really important that leaders, CEOs are practitioners of AI. So if you haven't already started playing with it, that's the first thing I think you should do, is get involved, start playing with AI, start learning how it elevates you, and then reimagine what that can do for your organization. It is, the skills of using AI. I hear people talking about, worrying about losing their job to AI. And in fact, I think what will happen is you're not going to lose your job to AI, but you might lose your job to somebody who is skilled and has AI skills in their portfolio. And that's definitely, I think, where we should be thinking about that now.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So what about the employees and aspirational leaders then? Probably a similar maybe point there, but future directors and CEOs, when they look at their career and they don't know what AI advances may or may not do for their careers, what should and can they do to secure and enhance their futures? If we're saying start looking at AI, experimenting, what can they start to do which will add value to their sort of future careers, do you think?
I think the exciting thing is there is so much change going on in this space. So near enough every week, there's some advancements with AI, whether it's a new tool or even a new platform that's available. So I think future-proofing yourself is really important. And the way that you can do that is to become a practitioner. Easy for me to say, become a practitioner. And I think also have a curious mind. So, you're not going to break anything, right? Everything that you can play with and adapt will help you feel more confident and comfortable with this new technology. I think the other exciting thing is, because it's all new, there's nobody out there really that has expertise beyond what you can learn. It's there for all of us. It's a very empowering thing for us to have access to. And then I think, if you do become a practitioner, it's then to evolve with AI. Partner with it so that it elevates your skills. And you can be doing this all the time at home, even if I hope organizations don't ban people from using AI in their role, but some might. But anyway, you've got it's available to you. There's lots of free different apps, etc. And therefore help that I find with using AI, what it's doing is actually allowing me to have more critical thinking, more time to think deeply about the thing I'm doing. Rather than the other way. So, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. So what about non-human AI then? I know you were recently at a convention regarding animals and AI, which I was really interested to learn more about. So what was discussed? What did you come across and learn there?
Well, I would advocate for anybody to go and take a look at the AI for Animals website. I think it's aiforanimals.org. Okay. So I went to the conference in California at Berkeley University. And it was fascinating. It was 2 days of, talks every hour. There were a range of topics that you could go and get involved in with academics and scientists and the researchers talking about the work and the advancements that they're doing using AI for animal. And so a couple of the things I went to, which it opened my eyes to a whole new world. I attended an interspecies communication session, which was around, and they're studying jumping spiders, crows, dolphins, and sperm whales, and looking at those, how those species communicate with each other and the context around it. And what we're doing then is decoding that in order that we can understand how we might communicate or understand those communications in order that we can do more really to preserve the habitats and the existence of different species. So that was one example. Another example was the lawyer who represents animals in court cases. He's been doing it for 11 years. Really? And he says none of his clients have paid him, but he still keeps doing it. But he's using the habeas corpus law legal framework to advocate for animals, and using AI to build the cases that helps him act on behalf of the animals in their different circumstances. Then there's the social implications. So should we be thinking about AI as digital tools or digital minds? And if they're digital minds, and at the point that they attain sentience, should they have rights? So in the workplace, should we be thinking about AI in our workforce in the way that we do about humans? So should we be thinking about recruitment, performance management, retiring the AI as and when it needs to get sunset? But all of the data points there that helps us understand the life cycle of these AI minds, if that's how we refer to them. I know at the moment we're thinking of them as digital tools, but if they can have feelings of suffering, I know at the moment they can't, but maybe in time they will. So anyway, it's very interesting, and I think there's a lot that if you're curious and you attend things like this, I think it's then how might you apply what you're learning there into the workplace or into the organization that you're part of.
Fascinating. So anything else that you'd like to talk about today, Susan?
You've touched on it through our conversation, but diversity matters, especially in the boardroom. And the reason why I am passionate about this is it's really important that we create connections and foster belonging. And more so now that we have AI partnering with us. What will the opportunities that we have is with AI, we have the opportunity to really ramp up, if you like, the things that differentiate us as humans. And therefore, having more diversity enables us to bring in the full range of the human experience. Human ingenuity and creativity really drives innovation. So the more diverse we have in our workforce or in our customer base, the more our business becomes innovative. Social and emotional intelligence enables us to foster empathy. And again, empathy is a uniquely different skill or part of being human that AI can't do. And moral reasoning and self-awareness, because that really helps us ensure trust. So I think diversity matters, and especially in the boardroom. And so as much as we can do to find ways to enable those emergent leaders to come from all parts of our business and our society.
Definitely. And I think to that point as well, obviously there's a case for more people, more from more backgrounds, from more sort of demographics to have to be encouraged and really utilizing AI, because it's learning from us all of the time, isn't it? And if we're ignoring subsections of some sections of society or age groups or certain sort of religion or race, it's going to be swayed. I mean, it's data, as you know, is already biased, isn't it? Because whatever's gone before us isn't necessarily the truth for today. So that I presume is a really important thing when it comes to the use and future of AI also.
Yes, the diversity in our data sets is going to help us mitigate bias and and the lack of trust, if you like, within the results that come out of AI or how we partner with it. So I am advocating for as many people getting in and playing with it, so that as many human views and experiences are present in the learning sets that train the AI. It's as you say, it's really important that we find ways to get the underrepresented groups to be able to have access to AI and help us really train and grow the future of AI.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of got my dad onto it recently, and I'm hoping that it will really help them, because I think they're a perfect case point, really, because they're sometimes they're bamboozled by technological advancements, and I can no longer do everything's becoming far more complicated for, well, at least my parents anyway, and it's like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And I said, oh, let's get you on ChatGPT, let's start just start asking it things, and it starts to tell you things, and and it could be a real friend to you. So we've only done that in the last couple of weeks, but let's see how he gets on. But I think it could be and also I heard I can't remember who it was. It might have been, in fact, I think it might have been Elon Musk. I'm not championing him, but I think he said about AI, one of the things that it will do good for society is it'll remove that loneliness, because it will give people someone and something to talk to, perhaps, which again may help, with certain demographics anyway. I'm going off, but yeah, let's hope that. And I mean, one last question I just have for you, if that's okay. But I mean, where would you hope that in sort of 12 months, 3 years, or 5 years we are when it comes to, I suppose, AI, the planet, human-centered transformation? What would you hope, Susan?
I see that there's the potential for some significant breakthroughs in areas where it really matters to our planet, which is why I went to the AI for animals, because I think science, research, academia are the spaces where they are looking at or tackling these big global problems. And I think, therefore, if we can support that, if we can continue to advocate for science and research in our world today, that powered with AI, they will be able to identify. And the scale of AI is just the speed at which it can look at different computations or variations and start to identify patterns that then the scientists and the researchers can interpret in a human way. I think that's where we will have some breakthroughs, and I think our planet needs it. So I'm hoping that I can support that area and find ways to unlock the creativity and ingenuity of these teams so that they can bring about real change.
Excellent. Great. Well, thank you very much. A very interesting conversation, and I look forward to seeing what's happening. I really appreciate you coming on. I hope this is really interesting to a lot of people. I'll obviously put all the links how people can connect with you and go to obviously your organisation and podcast. Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a lovely weekend. It's been a pleasure. It's always fun. So thank you for your time.
No worries. Take care.
Bye for now.